Hello and welcome back to Marvel Puzzle Quest with me, P.I. McLeod. It's day 3,961, 9 days away from another free 5-star cover, this time for Kamala Khan. And I have to admit, if you notice, my voice might be a little higher pitched or maybe a little louder. But point is, my house is empty. I'm sorry, as a father, you don't get this that often. At least a father of young kids. It's a small thing. I love my kids, but I got a moment of respite. So here we are. We got to do our Crash the Titans for the day, for the week, I guess I should say. And there's only one of them to do. I'm going to look at it right here. And before I get into it, I want to do a quick notate about something. I've seen people online mention this, the events. And you notice mine don't have the Nova thing right now. I don't have the 5-star Nova quests. I got rid of them day one. And I'm not saying you should do it as well. You guys watch my pull sessions. You see how I pull covers and how many, like in my shorts, I show you how many shards I'm getting, how many covers I'm getting. So of course I had some Nova covers right off the rip, right? I made sure to get one of each color due to shards, and I just started completing them. Not everyone should do that, but if you have the resources to do so, go for it. I'm going to present to you 2 different ways you should go about doing those quests. One, if you are not like me, maybe you aren't as advanced of a roster, okay? And I'm assuming most people who watch my channel are because, well, I present tips and tricks and what info for lower rosters. That's that's what I like to do. That said, let's say you have a 4-star and under roster, you don't have any 5-star Novas yet. There is this PvP right here, this True OG, where they give you a 5-star Nova for free. And he's got one of each color, a red, a yellow, a black. This happens for all of our 5-star quests, and even our 2-star quests, where they expect you to, like, use Ascended 2-star version, Iron Patriot at 4-star level. You know what I'm saying? And you got to use one of each color. This happens at all levels. Ooh, I almost forgot. Let me pause this service I have over here so we can have a better chat stream over here on the side. There we go. Yikes. Anyways, words. Yeah, use these PvPs. Get these quests done. I know it's 20 castings of them, and it sounds daunting because that's 60 castings total, right? But then it doesn't say win fights with them. It just says get these castings out there. So swallow a little bit of pride, a little bit of ego, because some people don't like to lose, right? But we're not losing. We're completing quests. Go in there and pick out people that will help you get the colors you need, okay? Now, for me, if you're in 5-star land, I love these 2 girls together. If you notice that they've both got like hits on them because I've been using them. I used them for something else today. Enhanced villains on the team, making matches in your strongest color, right? These 2 girls can get you whatever color you want and without too much effort. So in this case, let's say I wanted to fire off Nova's red a bunch of times. You go into Wanda, 5-star Wanda. You pick in her purple, only costs 3. Just 3. You can get that off of boosts. Boost your purple AP to start. Or put on a support like the Quantum Realm. That lets you start with purple AP. That's the whole reason I have it on her. Now with 3 AP, you can pick which color you want. And that color will always have, if there's fewer than 10 tiles of that color on the board at the start, you get 2 team-up tiles converted to that color at the start of every turn. So there's going to be more of that color on the board, right? And conversely, Cersei over here only needs 3 purple. Again, super cheap. You choose a color, and you remove pretty much all instances of that cover from the board. I say pretty much because there's still going to be a little bit that drop down from above. Only certain amounts of it are gone. But let's say you remove blue for whatever reason, right? You'll barely see blue again. The blue you do see on the board is very scant, very few. And then on top of it, her green allows you to take and produce more of the color of your choice, except for green, on the board. She doesn't let you do green for green because, you know, it's kind of like an endless loop. But if you, let's say, blue again, right? You spend this 9 green and you pick blue, all of a sudden you got a bunch more blue tiles on the board. And now pair that with the fact that Wanda is making sure that your color of choice, in this case blue, is more prevalent on the board. You're definitely going to have a blue heavy board. It definitely helps. You can get then put on supports to help as well. So, like, because you're trying to cast powers, right? So maybe if you want to make more red, you could always put this Quantum Realm support on Cersei. In my case, Cersei is weaker than Wanda, okay? She has a lower match damage, right? So I'll put the Quantum Realm on her. And I can go to Wanda and I can put on, since she's my stronger of the three, I could switch her to, oh, wrong button. Swap support, there we go. Switch her to Chimichanga, which says when I make red matches or purple matches, I have a chance of generating 2 more red AP and 2 more purple AP. This is highly handy. Now, she's not making the red matches in this team. Nova is, so I can't do it with if you have a loner, you can't really put a support on them. But if you have your own version, maybe you have 1 cover on them, right? Just 1. You could always go into your 1 cover Nova and add on the Chimichanga, because obviously his red match damage is better than Wanda's. It just takes a little finagling like that, just a little bit of foresight. And then all of a sudden you'll be producing red AP, in this case for Nova, over and over again. And then it comes down to yellow AP. Well, that's easy. You want to fire those yellow powers off fast? Go into these 2 girls again. Now switch the supports to, oh, I don't know, let's make some yellow generated ones. SPDR at the start of battle is a chance to start with 5 extra yellow. Or Korg. There it is, 3 extra yellow. Sanctum Sanctorum, chance for 5 extra yellow on the start. I know there's more. Oh, there's the shield. Vintage shield, chance for 3 extra yellow. You have options. Oh, was that Avengers Tower, right? Avengers Tower, yep. Start of battle, 2 extra yellow, which sucks, but still, it's 2 that you didn't have. There's options. There are so many options. And for black, same diff. Now, in this case, for Nova's black, you might be change it up a little bit. Maybe you want to go with, like, instead of Wanda, you could put on Cersei again, because removing a color from the board makes more of the other colors drop. I feel like that's better for you. Not to mention her green produces more of the color of your choice, right? But then switch Wanda to, let's say, because we're trying to make black, right? Switch Wanda to, let's see, put on your 4-star yellow, purple, black. We got Cloak and Dagger. Right there, right off the bat. There's nothing need to be cast. Was it Child of Darkness? Which one is it? Light Knives? Where is it at? Oh, there it is. Yeah, it is Child of Darkness. Start of the turn, if there's at least 9 black tiles on the board, create some red tiles. If not, convert up to 3 basic tiles to black. So as long as you're matching away the blacks, which you should be to fire off Nova's black power, and you have a less black on the board, all of a sudden now you got more black tiles to match, because Cloak and Dagger is making sure they're out there. And Cersei's making sure the other, whatever other color of your choice, isn't interrupting. In this case, I'd say probably like blue, right? Because Cersei doesn't use blue. Cloak and Dagger don't use blue. Nova doesn't use blue. Pick blue for Cersei. There are ways to get this done. It is not that hard. You can definitely do it. And this is, once again, using your PvP loaners or maybe your single cover Nova if you have that. I did mine when, I had, obviously you can see I have a 1/1/1 Nova. I just went into one of the PvEs. Like, let me go real quick. I have a plan. I just went into one of these ones that's like a wave node, right? Let's click on a wave node. I don't care about winning. I just want to cast the powers, right? So now you have multiple waves to mow through, to chew through with your peeps. And just put on your people. And you don't have to worry about like a high-end Polaris, Beta Ray Bill, Rocket, whatever combo eating up your people. You're just fighting goons on waves. And I'm just firing off my powers, generating my AP. It's not that hard to do. It's just a little time consuming. And let's face it, come on, we all have those moments we go to the bathroom and spend longer on the toilet than we need to. Or maybe you're sitting in the parking lot waiting on your spouse to come out from groceries. Or maybe you're waiting for your kids to pick them up from daycare or something. There's options to get this done. I do so every day, as you probably are well aware from my incessant playing of this game. Anyways, we should probably move on, right? Deadpool Daily. Crash of the Titans time. I can see that there's a spider we're going to fight. Which one do we get to squash? It's 4-star Infinity War Spider-Man. Yay! Look at how cute he is. No, 535, so he's not cheating. 4-star Infinity Spider came out, well, what do you know? Like a little after the movies that featured him in the big blockbuster Endgame Infinity War stuff, right? He came into the game with an extra way of producing web tiles that was a little unconventional and a lot more passive. He basically has, well, how do I say it? He has this nice quick reflexes passive that states if he gets hit, he's going to remove half of the webs from the board. Up to, what was it? Half the webs of the board? Yeah. And soaking up X amount percentage of the damage for each web removed. He oftentimes will remove a ton of webs, but he'll take like 1 damage from like a 30,000 damage move. He can be a really good tank, but this means that he has to be in front to do it. How does he make the webs? Simple, by making matches. As long as he makes matches, especially in his key colors, whenever he's tanking, T-A-N-K, and making matches, he could just turn basic tiles into web tiles. It's that simple. Now, unlike 2099 will have anyone make a black, yellow, or blue match as long as they are a hero, not a villain, and he'll make 3 webs and do damage with it. This Spider-Man has to make the match himself, so it can't be anyone else making it on his behalf. It has to be his icons. And he doesn't do damage while making the webs. So he is an inferior web creator when compared to 2099, but he is also better than a bunch of other ones because he does it passively. So keep that in mind. If you need to keep your webs around, don't use him because, like I said, if he takes a hit, he will remove a lot of webs in order to save his pretty face. His green is a very utility power. It doesn't really have a lot of punch. Well, no punch at all. It basically makes a lot of random webs on the board. If it hits enemy tiles, it locks them. If it hits friendly tiles, it fortifies them. If it hits basic tiles, it just turns them into webs. That's all it does, but it's a scattering of webs. It's like, well, I think like 8 webs, something like that. And it could be very beneficial, but since it's like a random shotgun blast of webs, you really don't know what it's going to hit. Hence, most people put it at 3, much like you see the computer did here. And finally, there's red, which is like a big old webby punch. Okay, it's I forget the actual name of it, but point is, it's just a big punch based on webs you have on the board. He does more damage with red, green, black web tiles on the board, and then a little less, but still extra damage for the other color webs on the board. It can be pretty sizable. It's definitely worth putting up there at 5 based on the amount of webs you should be making with him on your team. Is he scary? He can be. In this one-on-one fight, the fact that he has quick reflexes at 5 means any power damage we do is going to get soaked by the webs he is passively generating every turn. This can be annoying. Of course, this is for soaking power damage, though. So as long as we're doing high match damage, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Ready? We go up against him with Mr. Negative. Unfortunately for us, Mr. Negative loves his power damage and doesn't do a ton of match damage. But let's see what we have to work with. First, I'll remove these boosts and every time, every week, right? On call. And here I am, always forgetting to put character effects on for our one-on-one fights. There we go. There we go. Okay, Mr. Negative. Hey, look, he changed his costume for us. Let's get into him. Mr. Negative came into MPQ, just a couple of years ago? He's pretty recent, all things considered. He is a villain that when he came out in the game, I had to look up because I never heard of him. I'm not that big of a comic book nerd to know about him. But after reading about him, it is kind of a neat character idea. A whole nother take on the businessman living his double life, like Norman Osborn, like Wilson Fisk, these public identity figures that are also a bad guy in the streets, the opposite of Daredevil, professional businessman, but a good guy in the streets. let's start at the top of his list here. Deified Organizer, 7 yellow. If there are 6 or fewer strike, attack, or protect tiles on the board, and read that again. It doesn't say friendly or enemy. Okay, I want you to understand that. If there are 6 or fewer strike, attack, or protect tiles on the board, you create 3 strength 218. Well, in this case, 218 for my level tiles in that type that has the fewest. So let's say you have none of the above. It'll prioritize protect, and then it prioritizes strike, and then it'll prioritize attack last. But or if it's a tie, it prioritizes protect. Okay, and then it reverts to Martin Lee, which is, he has like 2 sides to him, right? You have Mr. Negative and Martin Lee. Then after those are created, if there are more than 6, so it has to be 7 or higher, right? You destroy all strike, attack, and protect tiles on the board, dealing damage equal to 225% of their total strength, and change to Mr. Negative. Destroy tiles do not deal damage or generate AP, blah, blah, blah. If it's used while he is Mr. Negative, you deal 50% more damage. As a passive, while he is Martin Lee, tiles he creates are empowered by 50%. So, okay. Let's unpackage this. There's a lot of text. There's a lot of if, thens, and buts on this, right? Okay, so he could be Mr. Negative and he can be Martin Lee. He can't be both at the same time. It's a one or the other. It's kind of like cloak and dagger, right? If he's in his Martin Lee form, he's going to make these tiles when he casts his yellow. And when he does so, they will be 50% stronger than that number stated above. So instead of 218 for me here, it'd be like 330 or something like that. It's going to be a little bit higher. I'm just approximating there with my numbers. Then at that point, if there are more than 6, he destroys all of them on the board. Remember, that's enemy and friendly tiles. And he does damage equal to 225% of their total strength. And then he changes to Mr. Negative. Okay? Now, if he uses this while he's already Mr. Negative, that damage he does is up by 50% more, but the value of the tiles created is just the normal value. Now, at the end of the day, does it matter when you use this? Probably not. There's 2 different forms to them here, and both do extra amount of damage or empowering, depending on what form you're in. But at the end of the day, you're creating these tiles, and there's only going to be 6 or less of them on the board. Otherwise, they all go bye-bye, because he's deleting all of them in the name of damage. So you probably don't care. Oops, sorry about that. You probably don't care enough to pay attention to when you're using it, what form you're in. It's inconsequential at this point. It is an effect, and you can measure it, and it might make the difference in a win, but man, that had to be a really close fight for you to be scrutinizing the numbers at that point. Just saying. Next up is Analyze Stats. This is a complete passive ability, and it's a pretty big one. Let's see where we start here with Martin. When he is Martin Lee, he takes 30% reduced damage from any matches and abilities at the start of his turn. At the start of his turn. He gains 1 AP in one of his strongest colors, which means his colors: yellow, blue, black in this case, right? While he is Mr. Negative, he deals 50% bonus match damage, and at the start of his turn, improves all friendly strike and attack tiles by 50% of his current level. So whatever his level is, have that, and he improves the tiles by that amount. He's also going to do more match damage, 50% more. I'm going to save this comment until after I read the whole thing. If he has taken more than 25% damage since changing into Mr. Negative, he changes to Martin Lee, and he creates 2 fortified projectiles. Pretty decent ones still. This cannot be disabled by status effects, so he can't be, even if he's stunned, status effects period, huh? So if he's away, that happens too, huh? Or airborne? I never really thought about that. I don't think I've seen Mr. Negative again been sent away enough to see that come into play, but I guess it would according to the wording here. Anyways, 50% more match damage isn't enough for him to be your tank. There are plenty of tanks out there that do a lot more match damage that deserve your attention, okay? You're not using Mr. Negative as your tank because of this alone. I mean, is it possible? Sure. It's just not that, I don't think you'd prefer that over, I don't know, say Juggernaut, America Chavez, Karnak, throw in Ghost, or even Talos. Talos has a really good match damage buff nowadays. There's so many other characters you could use for match damage uppers. Just saying, I wouldn't be using Mr. Negative for that. It is nice that while he's Martin Lee, he's getting 1 AP per turn in one of his three colors. I think that's a big thing that's worthwhile. And the fact that there's passive percentage bonuses going on no matter what form he's in does make this worth having at 5 because they are sizable. It's just not something I would say, oh, I'm going to build my whole team based around this. Does it make sense? I hope it does. Finally, there is his black. Reverse Tenet. It costs 5 black, so it's really, really cheap. I'm going to put it up to level 5 so you can see its full effect here. This automatically makes him into Mr. Negative, okay? So finally you can see like how and why, right? This turns him into Mr. Negative to start. You create a fortified, I can say words, 4-turn black countdown tile on the board. While the tile exists, 50% of the damage dealt by the target is instead dealt to a random enemy. In other words, kind of like good old classic Zelda mirror shield. You know what I'm saying? You're reflecting damage back at the enemy team. When the tile expires, the target deals 40% of their current health to all of their allies. So really good to use on someone who's like beefy healthy, you know? When that tile goes off, it's just all of a sudden they're just going to reverse hit their own teammate with all just because of how much health they have. It's kind of a crazy move, but it is effective. Honestly, very effective. If no allies exist, you mean like they're like the last one surviving, right? They deal 50% of that damage to themselves. So 50% of that 40% of their current health, okay? So in other words, let's make it easier, just 20% of their current health to themselves, okay? Makes sense? Because that's half of 40%. Anyways, I put this on a level 3 because at the end of the day, the other two have really good passives tied with them, and that yellow has more value to me than this black. I'd rather take the nice passives over this because this is something I have to cast to get any value out of, and doing mirrored damage back to the enemies is usually not how I'm playing the game to win. And that's basically relying on the opponent to hit hard enough for me to make this worthwhile. And I can't always guarantee that's going to be the case. At the end of the day, he's a pretty fun character. He actually has a really good value, in my opinion. I do put on things like this, the Hydra Henchmen, some sort of supports that actually help with making tiles. See, then the start of the turn, there's a chance to fortify a random friendly special. And that's right, because when I cast my specials, I want to make more. I might want to change this up, though. Let me change this. I want to make other tiles while I'm out there. I'll get to you. Don't worry. 1 second. I think I might want to put Chewy on. Chewy has a 37% chance of making an attack tile when I make a match, and I think that'll be really nice for him right now. Anyways, I'm doing that. Oh, hey, Alton, how's it going, buddy? I'm putting that on there because you'll see his yellow in action if I can have extra tiles out there to start, right? If I don't put a support on him, he's not creating any protect, attack, or strike tiles until I cast that yellow. And then by that time, you're not really get to see how it works. Does that make sense? I want you to see how the yellow works at its full power, meaning that you have enough tiles out there to have 7+. Because remember, I'm going to click on it again. It does that whole destruction thing when there's more than 6 and does a bunch of damage based off that. And that's it's a really good reason to have him up. Trust me. You ready? I'm going to go into it. You'll see. Hey, Martin Lee. How's it going, buddy? Oh, not bad. Oh, wow. Why is your voice so high-pitched? That's kind of weird. Chewy in action. My first 5-star support that I got from the advanced token last puzzle gauntlet. Nice, dude. Chewy is a pretty darn good one. I'm not saying he's top tier or nothing, but I wouldn't turn it down. That's for sure. I don't have a 5-star Chewy. Chewy's pretty good. Solid at making attack tiles on the fly. That is for show. See how Spidey's making random webs just because he exists, just for making matches. It's honestly super annoying. Almost annoying as me making constant attack tiles with Chewy. Well, we might as well see this in action. Reverse Tenet. And there he goes, flipping his color palette around. I need a yellow match. Let's see if we could force it. Well, I guess I could cast the yellow now. Ugh. Now, I'm going to do this. I want to see if I can get that yellow match before I go any further. He's going to match the green. And that's okay. See, quick reflexes coming into play. All because of power damage. Not that I really care. Ooh, let's do this now for the animation. And now he takes away. Whoa. See, I had a lot of extra tiles, so he did all that damage. And then Spidey goes and removes a web tile to lessen the damage that was incoming. Spidey probably would have been closer to death right there. But it's okay. I'm Mr. Negative right now, and I had a crit tile, which means that I was doing things 50% stronger because Mr. Negative rolls like that. Finally, we'll do this reverse tenet. Remember, this reflects damage back. And done. It's not that hard of a fight, especially if you have special tiles on your side, because those special tiles, Mr. Negative, or Martin Lee, is going to use to really put the hamper, the damage, the whatever you want to call it, on Spidey. I'm not saying it's supposed to be an easy match, but let me get to another topic of it here real quick, just in case you're not aware. I'm almost sure that you are aware, but let's put out one extra point of this. Martin Lee, Mr. Negative, there he is, down there in bottom right. He's part of a nice set of instant win teams, and as a matter of fact, I think I could bring it up for you here. Let me go into Versus so I can bring up one of these teams. I don't even care who it is. Save teams. Here it is. Here's a yellow-based infinite team, or on our channel, as we lovingly call it, Team Mark, because one of our loving followers, Mark, brought this to our attention, seemingly on the whim. If you know Mark on our channel, well, let's just assume you don't. He doesn't have that big of a roster. He's not the sort of guy that like tools around on Reddit and Discord all day looking at infinite strategies either. Just kind of came to his mind like really early in Mr. Negative's coming to Puzzle Quest, and we listened and we found out that you put in 5-star Marvel who says with mean right hook, whenever a friendly strike tile is destroyed by any means other than a match, you gain 2 yellow AP. And Polaris, who we all know does this thing whenever a team matches or destroys a strike, attack, or protect tile, you deal damage and create friendly special tiles of that type. So in other words, destroying strike tiles would make a lot more strike tiles, right? And since you're destroying them, not matching them, you're getting yellow AP for each one of them. And Mr. Negative is sitting here saying, oh, when there's more than 6 on the board when I cast this, I destroy them all for 225% of their total strength. So I'm going to cast this yellow, destroying all the strikes. And Polaris is going to create them all right back to the board because she's Polaris. And Captain Marvel says, oh, here's a bunch of yellow for destroying friendly strikes. So guess who's casting his yellow over and over and over and over and over again for a nice, easy Winfinite? These three are. It's a fun little team. Thanks again to Mark for finding that for us. It is all over the internet now, though. If you pay any attention to Reddit or Discord, it's one of many Winfinite teams we have in this game. It's just another tool in the pocket to have. You can always kickstart it with a low-level AI to get your strikes rolling easy, too. I'm sorry, I missed that, Alton. What'd you say? You could have got something worse out of 100 chance. This is true. Mr. Negative in my roster, but the last one for MK was quite easy. Yeah, for Moon Knight, yeah. But Moon Knight, he handled it pretty well, despite the fact that Moon Knight is so random. It's not that big of a deal. All right, we went through it. I'm sorry you missed it earlier, Alton, but we went through Nova quests, how to cast 20 of each Nova thing. Each Nova power, even if you don't have a Nova of your own, obviously featuring PvP. We went through strategies on how to get the red AP, the yellow AP, the black AP, and how to concentrate on doing 20 of each castings for 10x Vault Nova. And beyond that, then we went into the Crash the Titans and got that stuff done. Just play as PvP. No, you're right. PvP is correct, but I mean, we went into more of the idea of the how to get the AP. I mean, you can play as PvP and get his loner, sure. But, like, if you're just playing randomly, like, oh, let me just throw in Okoye and Banner for no reason, I mean, it's not going to help you get the red or yellow or black. I was putting out solutions for getting the AP you need and finishing it off faster. That's all. If you have at least one cover of Nova, you could always get that color done in PvE where it's safer against goons too. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. This is long enough for a Crash the Titans video. Thank you very much for joining me on this conversation, Alton. I will see you guys really soon. The CP is creeping up there, so whenever our new guy appears in his CP store, we'll have that poll session soon enough. Thanks again. Talk to you later. Bye.